Good afternoon, everyone. That's better. You can all hear me. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for that wonderful introduction. It is a real honour to be here today as Australia's Assistant Defence Minister to represent my country, but certainly also to work with India on our relationship and to build those closer ties. And this roundtable is a manifestation of that work here today. I want to begin by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land we're meeting on here in Sydney, the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation, and pay my respects to their elders past and present, and to acknowledge the many distinguished guests here today. And of course, and I'll come to our most distinguished guest, but it is wonderful to have met Vice Admiral Vatsayan on this trip here. He's been here before a few times, and Air Marshal Dixit, who has been wonderful on the trip, and the great work that His Excellency the High Commissioner has done in his time here in Australia is quite important to our relationship, and I thank you for all your commitment. It was great to share with our visitors a fantastic tour. We just came off the boat from the Admiral Hudson. We toured Fleet Base East here in Sydney and sailed on through a very beautiful Sydney Harbour. It was a good demonstration of how picturesque Australia is and how picturesque Sydney is, and I'm saying that as a Melbourneian, so it was hard for me to do that. But it was a pleasure to showcase for our dignitaries, our visitors, Australia's iconic harbour and the Royal Australian ceremonial vessel. So I think a perfect way to almost complete a very historic visit, and it is a historic visit because the visit by India's esteemed Minister for Defence, the Raksha Mantri Sir Rajnath Singh, means a great deal to Australia. It is such a significant visit for us, for our relationship between our two countries. It's historic. It has been 12 years since the last time we had a visit from an Indian Defence Minister, and I hope the next visit is not as long. I'm sure it won't be. We had, obviously, Prime Minister Modi have an amazing visit here. It was about a year ago, I think, and I was just speaking about that earlier. It was a great pleasure to meet with Prime Minister Modi during that visit, but 25,000 people here in Sydney came to a stadium for that amazing event. It was quite remarkable, and our Prime Minister Albanese was speaking with Prime Minister Modi at that event in front of a wonderful diaspora community. And that is one of the strengths of the relationship, the Australian-Indian community here and their contribution. We say a lot about the success of migrants, but it is a successful migrant story. The contributions that Indians have made to this country are top shelf. The contribution across so many industries and sectors is what makes Australia successful. So I thank the Indian community for that. As we said, this is the first visit in a long time, but it's the second meeting of our Defence Ministers this year. And it is a visit that signals the deepening ties between our nations. You'll no doubt hear a lot of these statements expressed by many during this visit, Minister, but I want to add my own personal thoughts here to express my personal recognition and appreciation for the depth of the Australia-India relationship and your commitment to that relationship, for the cooperation that we share across so many spheres and fields, and most importantly for the strategic trust that is fostered between our two nations. It is built on a foundation of friendship, of shared values, and it's a shared historical legacy. That is where the foundation of our relationship starts from, and it's an abiding commitment that we both have, both our nations, to democratic liberal values. So that vision, that foundation, also sees us have a shared vision for what we want to see in this region, in the Indo-Pacific, an open, stable and prosperous Indo-Pacific. And I know that the relationship has grown steadily. Mindfully, it's nurtured by mutual trust and a deep understanding of our shared interests. But it has accelerated at, I think, an unprecedented level in recent years. And that is at the same time that there's been a great challenge in the world. So our partnership, the true partnership that we have, that grows more integrated, that has more cooperative elements to it each and every day, is actually critically important for both our nations, given the challenges that we jointly face globally. So in many ways, I think this is emblematic of something deeper, and it's the friendship that I talk about. It's the cultural connection, the friendship that we have with each other, the warmth that we have between our peoples. So in the face of global uncertainty, increasing global uncertainty and instability, this relationship between Australia and India is a source of strength, of security and of opportunity. The human and economic connections between our nations grow. As I mentioned, our Australian Indian community is actually the second largest and fastest growing overseas born community in Australia. The Australia-India Economic Cooperation and Trade Agreement, which came into effect in December 2022, is part of that. There's the Australian government's new roadmap for Australia's economic management with India, which was launched earlier this year. Together, all of these elements reflect our shared commitment to a dynamic partnership that leverages human capital and economic opportunity. Those ties, human and economic, are two of the three key pillars of cooperation between our nations. The third, of course, is defence. And defence and security cooperation between India and Australia is now one of the strongest pillars of our strategic partnership. And it is extensive, covering maritime domain awareness, information sharing, science and technology, and training. We train together, we plan together, we share information, we share capability. And India's inaugural participation in Australia's exercise Talisman Sabre just a few months ago exemplifies our growing strategic convergence. And so we arrive at the subject of this afternoon's roundtable, which you are going to deep dive into, and that is defence industrial collaboration. India and Australia's defence industrial collaboration leverages the human, the economic and the defence pillars of our relationship. And today is a significant opportunity to have so many leading lights of the defence industry, of innovation, of research and business gathered in one room for these discussions. So I think it is a timely gathering. Australia's first defence industry trade mission to India is happening as we speak. And like that mission, this roundtable today will serve as a catalyst for enhancing vital connections between our two industrial bases. Rapid technological developments, which in many ways are reflective of a growing global strategic uncertainty, call for a new approach to defence capability development. We need agile interoperability, empowering us to perform and succeed in complex multi-domain operations. Our strategic environment is increasingly volatile and uncertain, and each one of us, I think, in this room grasps the urgency of our strategic circumstances. And critical to our common security is defence industrial collaboration and, of course, trusted partners like India. So collaboration can take many forms, creating mutually beneficial arrangements, sharing innovation, developing research and activation partnerships, driving careful and deliberate compatibility between our defence industries. This work will bolster the defence capabilities of both nations, bringing our mutual and complementary skills and expertise to enhance security across the Indo-Pacific. We must never forget that deterrence is always the objective. Enhanced defence industrial collaboration between our nations facilitates many benefits. Greater defence capability in an era where advanced technologies have added speed, ambiguity and complexity to our defence environment. Economic benefits, leveraging our unique specialties and expertise to expand our industrial and manufacturing sectors. Skills and jobs for our people, and I think us as politicians understand the importance of job creation and serving our communities, and being able to have people work together from both countries in that endeavour. The social, medical and other technological benefits that can arise from any accelerated research and innovation collaboration. So I say to all of you here gathered today, this moment offers all of us in this room an enormous opportunity, but it also is one that carries responsibilities that you all have and share as well. The responsibility to share, to explore, to drive innovation and work together on the cutting edge of technology and science, and where our greater capability, our greater combined capacity and our combined strength is the armour of deterrence. Now, I know people talk a lot about our competition between our nations in cricket. Just imagine that we could join the Australian and Indian cricket team. That's exactly the opportunity that you have. The benefits of that would accrue, both on the batting and bowling side and fielding. It is important, this moment, for technological cooperation between our two great nations. It really is. So let's recall that throughout our history, the bedrock driver of science and technological advancement has and should be the betterment of humanity, the security and the stability of the world that we live in, and the prosperity that flows to our peoples. That's what we do, why we do. So Australia will be there as India's true friend, Minister, and I greatly look forward to our discussions this afternoon at this round table, and I'm so pleased and honoured that we are able to work together for the future of both of our nations. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Minister, for those very encouraging remarks that you made, and particularly the analogy with the joining of the two cricket teams. That would be that would be quite a dream. Having said that, may I now invite Adani Rajnath Singh ji?
Okay. Thank you very much, Pradeep ji. Honorable Peter Khalil, Assistant Minister for Defence of Australia, High Commissioner of India, Sri Gopal Bagle, Vice Admiral Sanjay Vatsayan, Vice Chief of Naval Staff, Air Marshal Ashutosh Dixit, Chief of Integrated Defence Staff, Sri Pradeep Yash Mehta, Secretary General, Cuts International, Cuts, who always cut, distinguished leaders from industry, ladies and gentlemen. At the outset, I would like to thank Honorable Peter Khalil, Assistant Minister for Defence of Australia, for joining us at this Made in India-Australia Defence Industry Business Roundtable, being held here in the beautiful Emerald City, Sydney. It is a profound honour to address this distinguished gathering of business leaders and innovators from Australia and India assembled here today. As India's Minister of Defence, I also extend my warm greetings to our partners for convening this vital forum and local partners, Newland Global Group and Australia-India Business Council. Today, as we gather under the banner of our comprehensive strategic partnership established in 2020, we stand at a pivotal juncture to reposition our defence relations not merely as partners but as co-creators of a secure and prosperous Indo-Pacific. Friends, over the past few years, India and Australia have witnessed a remarkable transformation in our bilateral relations. What began as a strong friendship has evolved into a comprehensive strategic partnership in 2020. This partnership has since deepened through regular high-level engagements, the India-Australia Summit in November 2024, and the 2+2 dialogue held in October 2024, visit of Deputy Prime Minister and Defence Minister to India in July 2025, and my ongoing visit to Australia show the deepening relations. Friends, this deepening of relationship is based on many commonalities and the convergence of interest. Both India and Australia are part of the Commonwealth of Nations. Our shared history is built on similar foundations of democracy, diversity, liberty, and similar governance structures. Friends, I firmly believe that a strong and cooperative bilateral relationship between nations is largely based on three important pillars: a forward-looking government-to-government collaboration, a good civil society or people-to-people relationship, and a healthy convergence of business interests. As I mentioned earlier, our governmental frameworks are robust and getting further strengthened. On the people's front, we have a big Indian diaspora here in Australia, which is complemented by a good Australian presence in India. And yet, our defense industrial partnership, based on joint research and development, innovation, co-creation, and co-production, still has an untapped potential. It is in this context that I see this forum as an important instrument to make India and Australia natural allies in business and industry too. Friends, as I see it, this potential nature alliance has compelling economic reasons to be successful and mutually beneficial. Australia excels in niche technologies, quantum systems, autonomous underwater vehicles, and advanced maritime surveillance. India, on the other hand, offers vast manufacturing scale and economies, software prowess, and indigenous capabilities in sectors such as shipbuilding, missile technology, and space. I believe this round table can be a great catalyst to tap the unrealized potential in our defense industry collaboration. India is on a transformative journey of structural reforms, particularly in manufacturing, propelling our growth trajectory. Friends, propelled by a concerted effort, India is today globally the fourth largest economy, as also the fastest growing large economy of the world. India's economic resilience can also be seen from the fact that when the world is witnessing increasing barriers in trade and geostrategic instability, India's economy has been consistently posting above 6.5% growth rate annually. As regards Indian defense industry, India's defense production touched rupees 1.51 lakhs crore, which is approximately $18 billion US dollars last financial year. This is an 18% increase from the previous year's output and the highest ever. Our defense exports have reached approximately 23,622 crore, or approximately 2.76 billion US dollar last year. And Indian companies now export to around 100 countries.